This lesson regards the implication of culture, local tradition and society on energy use. The social aspects to be considered are made by three different dimensions: culture and tradition, social network, and the relation between host and host communities. The duration of displacement, the perspective about the future, and the perception of the settlements they are living in are some of the cultural and traditional cross-cutting issues having a direct impact on the living condition of both IDPs and refugees. Being far away from home without any certainty on their current and future life, having a very poor access to some of the fundamental human rights such as education, and suffering from a lack of self-reliability are some of the most common factors that negatively influence IDPs and refugees, both in the short term and above all in the medium and long period. Regarding the technological side, IDPs and refugees could perceive some technologies as if they were for poor or emarginated people. On the contrary, they can be attracted by any technology only because they are considered modern. Taking into consideration the linkages between culture plus tradition and food utilization, there are some elements to be evaluated: food consumption, food cooking, food preservation, and water quality. As regards food consumption, the existence or not of traditional recipes, the type of food traditionally purchased, if it's dry or fresh, and the way in which it's generally consumed, warm or cold. About food cooking, the way of cooking, the social, institutional, legal, economic, technological barrier to the use of some alternative fuels, for example dung or excreta, direct experience of references about new technologies, other use of cooking technologies, for instance for heating, lighting or against insects. Regarding food preservation, the change of taste due a certain technology limited experience about food preservation technologies and techniques. Finally, on water quality, the local belief regarding the source of water, for example, still water sometimes is considered less safe than running water, and the local belief about effectiveness on treatment available locally, for example, the use of specific stones or plants. As an IDP or a refugee, the existence of an already established social network in the area or in camp, where you have been compelled to be displaced in, without any doubt is a positive factor for a better and also easier accommodation, economic support, protection, information sharing, etc. Differently, women, especially widows and children, can be oppressed by the same family members and being influenced. Regarding food utilization, food cooking aspects are like firewood collection or fetching water may prevent children from attending school and force them and women to spend much time every day outdoor. Furthermore, a new technology can change the power relations. Who has a monopoly will adverse it, while the others could see new opportunities. Among humanitarian actors, there are no clear evidence about different acceptance by host community between IDPs and refugees. Nevertheless, there are some elements which can be led to a host community to a certain behavior. Generally speaking, some factors have to be assessed in order to better understand the relation between host and host communities. Do they speak the same language? Do they understand each other? Do they belong to the same ethnic group? To the same tribe, religion? Do they have a link? How much space is available for the host community? Are there enough rooms? Is the host community in conflict with a part of the local population? Of course, in rural contexts, this is usually simple. Are there any similarity and compatibility between host and host communities in terms of education and habits? What about the presence of members of the family network? Are there any relatives or close friends? What's the economic level of the host community? Do they have money? Do they create new economic opportunities for the hosting community? Is there a need of labor force or a possibility to integrate the host community in the local economy? More specifically, the relations between host and host community have some impact on food utilization and in particular on the following factors: the technology used by the host community because they are a reference, the acceptable load on the environment and the market, considering that the additional load of the host community may create conflicts, the food security and in general the economic level of host community, considering that the assistance from the international organization to host community can create conflicts.